You believe in miracles? We got Fizzle in the house. Fizzle, what's good, man? Fizzle, glad to have you here.
Let's go. This the South Harmon Podcast. Glad you here today. Hit that Patreon link if you here to stay. Dynasty best ball, that's my favorite way. 40 chess trade show, let's make a trade today or check a AMA. You know Adam at the ATM. Mike always in the building, he gon' stay with him. They gon' start every show off with their own trade. Fantasy's a big ocean, they made their own wave. Make sure you tapping in Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday night, Saturday morning, ain't no better way. Hit that notification bell when the news break. Go subscribe right now, don't get the news late. Destination Devy, that's the team. Dynasty football, man, that's my favorite thing. I remember Biggie said it was all a dream. Now people watching on their phones and computer screens. Welcome to the team. Let's start the show.
Savage semester, baby. You like that?
Oh, what a way to start it off,
Let's
man.
go.
What is up, everybody? Sunday Night AMA. We are in the building. Thank you so much for tapping in. Adam, this is going to be a week of live streaming, right? Like my work week technically starts on Sunday, so this just kind of fits, right? We knock out the first live stream on Sunday, and then Thursday, Friday, the 7+ hour marathon that we're going to do on Saturday. Oh, man. I'm glad this chair is comfy.
I'm excited, man. We're looking at 20 hours-ish minimum for the next weekend, basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Make sure you're tapped in Thursday and Friday to the draft stream we're going to do on Destination Devy. Not sure exactly where day 3 is going to be, if it's going to be there or here. But either way, we'll keep you informed. And make sure you're there for the entirety of it, because Mike and I aren't going anywhere. I don't care what happens if, Matt Dennis, I don't know if you're here now or you're going to be here Thursday, trying to get us too drunk. I don't care how drunk you get me. I'll wake up. I'll be there Saturday, no matter what happens. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this draft. We've been excited for the 23 class for a while. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm jacked for it. The NFL draft's always a good time, and the fact we get to do it with our buddies, our friends, right? We get to do Destination Devy again. Year number 2 of us being on there. Hopefully, we get some Jay Rich laying in bed again, extra casual. Maybe we get an Eagles trade that I'll break out some terrible dance moves for. Get some more thumbnail content, Adam. But it's gonna be a blast. Thank you everybody for tapping in. Man, we already kicked this off. We got a super chat right out the gate. What the hell is going on here?
Welcome to the new world. We call that super chat world. Garrett. Okay. Garrett says, send a message in the chat. Thanks as always, boys. So I'm going to make this a lot bigger.
Hell yeah. You got to blow him up, man. He did a super chat. Thanks,
yeah,
Garrett.
So send a message in the chat. Thanks, boys. Let's find the message, because if you – listen, I'll scroll through all of them. I don't care if there's a million in here. If you super chat, I'll scroll to find it. Here it is. Okay. All right, so we got a 1 out of 1. 12-team Superflex, full PPR, start 9. I got 103, 106, 107, 110. The guy I want to trade with has 102, 104, 105. Okay. He only needs one quarterback. How much would you add to the 107 to move up? I don't need QB. So he's talking about going to get JSN, right?
Oh, okay.
Because if you're not going to take Levis at 107, you still might do it, but you're saying you don't need that. That's one of the luxuries where you might. But then it's like, do I want to move up for receiver? Well, let's just talk about it in theory for a second.
Do you want to pay the price to go to 102 though? Like, because you go to 104, you still risk the guy at 103. Oh, he is the 103. Never mind. I'm an idiot and can't read.
So that's the thing, right? He'll have 102 and 103 there. My question is, do you need to go there? Like, do you know? Because this is the other thing. That guy has 102 and 104. Do you need to get 102 to guarantee JSN?
He only needs one quarterback because he could really just big brain you and take JSN at 2. Then you're sitting there going, shit. So you take a quarterback at 3. He takes a quarterback at 4.
I'm comfortable with A-Rich, or I'm comfortable with A-Rich, Bryce, or CJ, whichever I get. I got you.
He could do the reverse 40 thing. So you almost have to go to 102 to just lock it in.
But let me say this, though. Okay, let's say we do that. I'll be honest, man. I don't think I'm going to take JSN at 102. I think then I'm saying let me go ahead and get whatever quarterback I want or Bijan.
Right. This is antithetical to what we do anyways. I just take all the quarterbacks.
So I'm having a hard time in my own mind processing how this is going to go down. Garrett, if we're wrong on how we're assessing this, just go ahead and put it in the chat, by the way.
I would say, though, for me...
Oh, it's a second message. Hold on.
Oh, we got a second part.
All right. So let's close that part out. 202. I also have 203 and 211 and 524s. All right, so there we go. We need all the context. We're just out here theorizing for nothing. His last offer was my 107, 110, 203 to move up 2 spots. What would you counter with, feel comfortable with? What about 110 and a 24 first, etc.? So, this is going to get 105 now.
Oh, then hell no. I'm good. I'm just sticking pat with what I got.
Well, Mike, you already know Mike's doing that because he wants him some Will Levis, and he loves him, even if you don't need a quarterback. So let's just
even if it ain't Will Levis, like I'm holding my league to the fire. You built this treasure trove of assets. I'm not trading it for this rookie class. Like outside of Bijan, Adam, I don't think there's anybody that I want to like tear up to. Right? With what we know now, like I think they're all pretty good.
So you wouldn't tear up to JSN?
No. I'm not.
I think he's the other one guy. He's the one guy in this class I would do it for. Now, I'll say this: to this price, I probably wouldn't do that.
If JSN was Jamar Chase, yes, right, where you just knew it right out the box that this guy's super special. But we don't know that about JSN. Everything we've heard, JSN has his own warts. We think he's good. He's pretty clear wide receiver 1 for a lot of people.
Garrett Wilson says he still stands by the fact that he's better than Chris Olave.
I understand, and he very well may be it. But then you look at these mock drafts and these NFL people in the know, right? Yeah. What has Lance Zierlein said forever? He was like, Jalen Hyatt's my wide receiver 1 just because this wide receiver class is so bad. That's with JSN, and that doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me feel good about taking multiple assets, even in a start 9, and just packaging them together for one wide receiver. Like, I pass, man. Go find another wide receiver that we actually know is good. Do that shit for Garrett Wilson. Do that shit for Drake London or Devontae Smith, or like go for one of those guys.
Well, why do we know Drake London's that much better than JSN?
Okay, even if it's not Drake London, I'm just throwing out.
I get you though. Let's use Garrett Wilson because I get where you're going there. Garrett Wilson. Let's say I think the problem is Garrett Wilson's not going to sell for 107, 110, and 203.
Okay.
That's my. I don't disagree with your point. By the way, I agree that
Olave?
I agree with Mike that if I'm gonna pay up, let me go ahead and just pay up a little higher, not for a rookie, but for a guy that's more solidified top 15 asset. I understand what you're saying. I agree with it. I wonder here because this is his offer on the table, right? 107, 110, and 203 is on the table. I don't think someone with Garrett Wilson would send you your Garrett Wilson for those picks more often than not.
I'm not touching my treasure trove of 24 first if we're going down that route.
I got you. No. So 107 and 110, would you do that straight up for JSN?
If you really wanted to. Like if you could lock it in. But like I said,
so then the 203 the 203 kills it for you, right?
Not even like the 203 is fine. It just feels so antithetical to move up 2 damn spots. Like you better be damn sure.
But it is. Well, here's the thing. It's lineup start 9. And now
you better be damn sure it's getting the guy that you want, because if you move up 2 spots and he takes him, with the second or the 4th pick or whatever the hell it is,
but
you're gonna want to kick yourself in the teeth.
I get you there, but let me just say, if that was to happen, and why I think 105 is the spot I would actually do it for, is because JSN's likely there, and if he's not, you're gonna get A-Rich, you're gonna get Bryce, you're gonna get CJ, right? So I think I'm still comfortable sending that package, especially for the quarterback. So if I do it for the receiver, I'll take the quarterback there in that scenario. The reason I say in lineup start 9, I'd consider it based on what your roster was and if you really could afford to move these. Because Mike makes a lot of good points. We don't know that JSN is going to be that great. As much as I like Ohio State receivers and the Ohio State University, I cannot guarantee you that JSN is going to smash in the NFL. Can't do it. I would never lie and say I can. But I do think the community's so high on him that his value retention is still good enough in lineup start 9 that he's pretty movable. I'll say this, man. If you want to pull the ATM and offer back that 110 and a 24 first, sure. But you better be damn sure about that 24 first being late. Because honestly, if there's any chance and that is a mid or earlier, I'd rather send 107, 110, and 203. Like, you better be locked in that that's a later end 24 first. Otherwise, I'd rather just send the top offer, tell you the truth.
This is just the difference. Like, I mean, Garrett, you're tapped into us. You pay attention to what we do. Like, I'm not opposed to it. Okay, so I understand there's people who play Dynasty a little bit different, but when I'm just looking at it, I'm being completely honest. This is a move that I wouldn't ever do. You'll never catch me in the league doing that kind of thing. Like, to go for a receiver in a rookie draft. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to take whatever value falls. I don't think about team need. I don't think about I only need one quarterback or this guy needs two quarterbacks. I don't care. I'm just taking whatever the value is and I'll leverage it later. I got till September to figure it out. Like, I got a long time to do it. I'll take all the damn quarterbacks if I have to. And Adam's watched me do it. Yeah. Where I already got 4 quarterbacks on my roster who have NFL jobs to varying degrees,
right?
Like good quarterbacks. And I'm in a quote-unquote rebuild. I need wide receivers. I need running backs. Did it matter, Adam? No, I just take all the quarterbacks and I go, come see me when you want a damn quarterback. I don't give a shit. So I'm more in that boat. Like,
I get it.
Take the value.
I think if you wanted to stick back and take the value, I understand it. Whoa, what do we got, Mike? Show us.
No, I had some questions in the chat, like what jersey am I rocking? So it's
go ahead,
old,
let it
it's
out.
the old Derwin James jersey.
I was gonna say that's the initial Derwin James, right? Because he changed it to 3.
He did.
Yeah, he took one of those 3s off, but that's a sweet jersey, by the way. Well done.
I love me some Derwin James. I'm an Eagles fan, but I still love me some Derwin James. Ever since he was at Florida State, I've
always liked him a lot. The injuries have always kind of hurt,
right.
but
just,
when he plays,
he's so
good.
Like,
he's so good, man.
Yes.
I think that, Garrett, to tell you the truth, I'm perfectly okay if you wanted to stay and this doesn't end up coming to fruition. I think at 107 you'll be okay. You'll be able to take a shot at Levis. Maybe Gibbs goes if someone needs a quarterback at 106. I'm okay staying, but if you think your team's built appropriately and you can afford to go do this, JSN is the other person in this class, other than Bijan, at a non-quarterback that I would move up for. I think that offer sounds bad. But if you have enough assets, I'm willing to do that for JSN. Because this class has a bunch of receivers that could pop. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Zay Flowers or any of these guys going in that range couldn't pop. But no one really loves them. So if they don't, their value is far from insulated. JSN, I think, is he's the only other guy besides Bijan that's kind of really deadlocked into staying where he's at in Dynasty, even at the end of the year, no matter what happens.
All right. I love it, man. Garrett, thanks for the super chat.
Appreciate the super chat.
We spent 15 minutes.
Yeah. Hope that. Well, we got a super chat, man. We got to do it. Cody, here's what we can do. We can give you all the time that Cody didn't ask a question for. So that was 2 questions we already got through. Because Cody likes doing this, by the way. He just drops a super chat with no question, just like kind of flexing, letting everybody know what's up. So
he's the big man in the house. Right.
Yeah, he's built like that. All right, Shorts with the $10 super chat. Appreciate it, Shorts. Happy draft week. Hope all the players you want to fall to you. Go Jets. Go Jets. Do you know, have you had anyone on the inside, Shorts, tell you anything about Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson or what's going to happen? Because as a Browns fan, I know what it feels like when you don't have a quarterback and we're just getting teased about the one that we will get. So rookie draft Superflex. What do you need to move off of quarterback to running back wide receiver? Let's say 102 and 103 to 105 and 106. Mike, go ahead. Talk to us.
To move back, like say if I'm in the 102 or the 103 to 5 and 6, this is just about value for me. Like I'm probably asking for an early second. Adam would just a random 24-second do it for you. Like I'm kind of cool with it, but I think I need more. I think I can demand more.
You can, just because of the quarterback issue. I think you can. 105, I think, is where maybe you can't. 106, I think you definitely can.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're at 102 or 103.
Out of Will Levis, I want to get into Stroud or Bryce Young easily.
Like if the person at 105 has 2 quarterbacks, even if one of them is what you don't love, but let's say their quarterback 2 is Derek Carr. Like they may be locked in at taking JSN. They don't even care, right? And even if it's not the correct play, that's what they're going to do. They may not really care to move up to go get that quarterback unless they're guaranteed to get 102, and then they're going to pay you, like you said, a 24-second. I'm good, man. I'll rather sell him that quarterback later if I want to do that. I think at 106, you can ask a 24 first, and that's not crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think you could ask a 24 first. I think so. Just generically, Adam, lineup and all that stuff comes into play. Best ball, I will say though, like all the best ball leagues we do, if I'm picking 102, 103, and somebody wants me to move back to 5 or 6, pick one. I really don't care which. You give me an early second. It's
the reason you're going to do that is because you'd almost rather have Will Levis anyway.
Okay.
So that it makes it. I'm just saying. The only reason I put that out there. No, it's because for you. No, it's because for you, you actually are comfortable taking Will Levis in the plus for you, right?
Yes.
Like that makes sense. Sure. Some people are not comfortable with what Will Levis is versus C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or A. Rich. So
Shorts, ask for a first. Ask for a first. Shoot for a first, and I think it's pretty reasonable.
I think if you get a first player or value coming back to you from 105 or 106, I'd be very willing to if you don't need the quarterback.
And honestly, what Adam said earlier too, if somebody doesn't want to meet your value, like meet that first, just take the player. You got 5 months to trade him.
Yeah, you don't have to just deal that quarterback to the single person that has 105 or 106, right?
Right.
And you don't have to do it right now in the rookie draft.
I'll open it up to everybody else, right?
The reason I say that is I want, if I'm going to get off of one of these quarterbacks to go down, I'm going to want a first back. Otherwise, I'll just hold the quarterback scarcity card and sell to a needy team when there's an injury. So, or when let's say it's A-Rich and he doesn't play for the first 8-10 weeks and everyone's kind of clowning you. All of a sudden he's starting, has a great running game. You got a totally different buyer's market. So that's the way I would answer that question, Shorts. Appreciate the super chat, by the way, man. All right. We've gotten the super chats so far out of the way. Keep them coming if you want to have a question answered. Please go ahead and ask in a super chat. But let's get to some of the other ones, Mike. I like this. Corey goes back to the old school. Just don't piss all over the floor. That never goes well. Talking to Mike.
Try not to.
That was awesome. All right, let's see.
That's all determined by the draft stream and how many shots we're getting bought on Thursday and Friday night.
I think we're gonna have plenty of shots. Personally, all right, we got an inbox trade here, Mike, from Sean. 14 team, start 9, 1 quarterback. Oh wow, 14 team, 1 QB. Starting 8. 101 right now for me in the 1 quarterback market is. When we talk about Bijan, Scott and I did a little segment on this on Destination Dynasty a couple weeks ago. Mike and I have talked at lengths about, is Bijan really the 101? And that's in Superflex. When it comes to 1 quarterback, understanding 1 quarterback, when you take the quarterback scarcity out of it, Bijan Robinson is head and shoulders miles apart from what you want in skill players. This to me, unless it's 102 or 103 even, and another couple firsts, or that type of a value, I'm just taking Bijan. I'm just taking Bijan.
No question about it, man. You're talking a guy who's the 3rd pick in a startup in a 1 QB league. I mean, if not, he has he is on the door. If he's not ahead of Chase and Jefferson, he's on the door. Right, he's the top 3 pick. Right behind him. Yeah, he's right behind him. I mean, maybe somebody goes I want JT or. I don't think anyone's taking anybody but Bijan at running back and 1 quarterback. So that's 101 here, no question about it.
Easy. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. Yeah, I think Sean, in this one, I would demand. Mike, let's say it's 104 and 105. What would you need to add? Let's say this one person does have those 2 picks. What would you need to add? Because 104 all of a sudden is now. It's not JSN, it's not Gibbs. So you're looking at that all of a sudden becomes Sharps.
Sharps and Addison and QJ and
what would you need? Would you do a 20? What about a 24 first and those 2 picks?
No. No, I still want more, and it's a running back, Adam.
I'm with you. I'm actually I'm asking the question. I want to just know that I'm with you, by the way. I don't want that either. So I think Sean, in this league, 14 team, we're only starting 8 skill players, 1 quarterback. Like, it needs to be the world. They need to feel their roster crumble.
Think about non-Superflex leagues. What do you want for Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, right? You want the world. Like, give it to me.
I think the only way I would actually consider
Patrick Mahomes is Superflex. Like, you need to pay me.
If you're not giving me 102 or 103 in this rookie class, like, we're probably not even having a discussion if I'm telling you the truth, right?
Like,
if you want to give me a different skill player,
right?
If you want to substitute 104 and 105 for a skill player that's really good already, okay, we can have a discussion. But if our starting point is 104 and 105, no, I'm good, man, because we already talk about in Superflex is a tier break at 107, right? Now think about it this way: when you take out the 4 quarterbacks, which includes Levis, we're at the 103, right? So the 104 all of a sudden becomes the 108 in Superflex, which is where we're all like, ugh, I don't even know if I want these guys. No,
right.
This does not get you to the table, Sean. Hope that answers it for you.
No, you keep the 101.
All right, 10 teams, start 8, full PPR, half-point flex, a broken dishwasher with no spare parts, or Kyler Murray. Check, keep trade cut, and can't decide. Daniel, I think, well, I still am fine with Kyler Murray. I understand people are worried, and I know he's probably not going to be the greatest in points per game. He may not start the whole season next year. I'm willing to ride it out, though.
I didn't even see Superflex in this, but I don't think it really matters. Like, still want to.
Even in one quarterback, like, his value in trading goes way down, but he's still a running quarterback that has top 12 ceiling easy. So
right, and he has like top. I mean, when he's fully clicking, right, we're talking about a guy
top
who
3,
like QB. Yeah, right, QB2 overall weeks pretty easily. So
it feels like it's wild how certain guys that are I would say, I guess, a little more. There's a split view in the community. Like, I remember vividly, Mike, in Kyler's second year, like when he threw that pass to Hopkins, right? And he's killing it.
Right.
There's conversations quarterback 1 in Dynasty.
Yes.
We are at the point where now it's like, nah, this dude, the video game conversation.
He plays too much Call of Duty. He's too short.
I was kicking it with my brother-in-law just this weekend playing some Call of Duty. It was nice. It was awesome to do that. But why does that matter? Like, it's fantasy football. It's not the real NFL. If you want to tell me that you don't believe that Kyler Murray can actually win playoff games and help a team win, fine. This is fantasy football. We don't actually care about any of that.
We don't.
Kyler Murray over the dishwasher and the spare parts, and if keep trade cut 3 something extra, Daniel Walker.
It is interesting, though. I mean, there are some fancy dishwashers out there.
Man.
As a maintenance tech, man.
Well, we got super
spare
chats
parts
flying.
do cost a lot. Holy hell.
JB. Wow. JB, 1999 super chat. Unnecessary, but we will take it from our guy, man. JB, for those of you who don't know, I'm driving home like, hey, man, I'm kind of rushing. I'm going to be a little tight on time. Would you mind pulling the trades for me today for the trade show? He does that, doesn't get anything back from me in compensation. Then he's throwing us a $20 super chat. JB is the man. Why is one quarterback the superior format? Obviously joking. Appreciate you two and all the work you do. Draft week is finally here. You know why 1 QB is the superior format? It's because when those questions come around and JB's in the building, we just forward those over to JB because he's the AAF commander, as we call him.
Auto reply is JB's DM link on Discord. Like,
Mike is out of the office today. Please get with the person that's covering for him, Jordan Backus. He will handle all of your 1 quarterback questions.
It's a far too superior format for me to comprehend and play in. So that's why I choose to not do any of them.
It's not nearly convoluted enough. All right, Raynard, appreciate the super chat, man. I don't, Raynard, I'm not sure if you're new to the channel or if you just haven't commented much, but we appreciate this quite a bit. Another Canadian guy, Mike. You know what, Mike? I think might be from Canada. He loves getting the Canadian people in here. He's got a Canadian affiliation, I feel like, at this point. 10 team, start 10, PPR, 1 quarterback, startup draft 102 and the 609. Or would you rather have B, the 301, the 306, the 510, and the 24 first? Mike, Raynard, you must have been listening, even if you're new, because this is our type of a question. We're talking startup values. Let's go, man. I just did the Dynasty flashcards for people on the Savage semester this week, and they went poorly. So let's talk about this.
Only start 10.
And 1 quarterback.
Right. Give me the 102. Give me Chase or Jefferson.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I actually don't know the values in one
This is
QB
why-
well enough.
this
But
is
this is
why
why we
we
have
have-
this is why we have Koopa's ADP tracker. I'm going to pull it up right now while we're doing this. So let's
You
go ahead
tell
and
me
talk
what the
this out.
values of these picks are. Right?
Mike,
This
it's
is why we
it's going
don't-
to take me a while to pull this up. By the way, I don't know any of these.
Right. You didn't feature Dynasty flashcards with one QB league startup picks.
JB, if you want to feature those on Savage Semester, feel free to. By the way, all right. So let's go.
I feel
one
sick
QBs.
all of a sudden.
All right, so here we go. The 301 currently via our South Harmon ADP tracker, which pulls from real money sleeper leagues. You can find that if you want to subscribe to patreon.com/allgas. You can get our South Harmon ADP tracker. Actually, even if you don't want to, Koopa has it out there. We can get it for you. It's free. It's not part of the patron. 301, Mike. Travis Kelce, actually. Okay.
Okay.
306 is the Slim Reaper, Devontae Smith.
Okay.
510 is... Who do you think 510 is? You know how happy I am right now. Come on.
Quarterback?
It's one QB. Come on now.
I don't know. I don't know one of them.
Think about someone I was staunchly defending at all costs last year. It's like I was John. I was John Snow.
We have a whole YouTube banner of just.
He's on the banner. He's on the banner. My favorite player on the banner.
Swift.
Nope. Close.
Cam Akers.
There he is. Cam Akers at 5'10". So we got, and then a 24 first.
So who's the 609? Because he's also getting that part of the deal on his side.
Great question. Javonte Williams.
Who's like right after him?
I'm giving you just ideas, the ranges. Right?
You gave me all those. The Kelce thing's interesting, depending on like the tight end premium, though. He'll probably go earlier if there is one.
So 102 is going to be Chase or Jefferson, right?
Right.
And then
I want the 102 609 side.
I'm with you. Like, as much as I like Kelce.
Right. It just seems like a bunch of, I mean, they're good, but we're starting 10 people in a 10-team league. I want the studs as much as possible, and you can't get much stud there.
Can I tell you what is actually intriguing about the other side, even though I still will take A, is that, like that, because here's the thing. I think a lot of people that would make this trade, they don't know what they're doing. And, okay, they got Jefferson, they got Chase, but is the rest of the team actually that good? Like, what if I got a chance to get Marvin Harrison? Or
True.
Right?
True.
Like that's the only thing I think I can bet against a team that maybe consolidates too much. I think even still I want just the premier player in this format because you want to just stud out every position. So I think I'll still take A. But that's what's intriguing, I think, about B. It's not Cam Akers as much as I want to make it B. It's not.
The 4 for 2. If this was a 4 for 1, right, you take the 609 out, right? You're getting all this just for the 102. I think you could pull the trigger.
Daniel Walker, appreciate the super chat. Man, we are going. JB, you should be on the show.
Make sure you don't skip over Cody's second super chat, or he's gonna lose his shit too. So let's get
Mike. Why did you do Mike? Why did you do that? I was trying to mess with Cody, I was trying to mess with him. I wanted him to give another super chat just to get crazy. All right, I saw it, Cody. I was playing. Sorry.
Well, this is an easy answer. Like I've seen it asked in here a couple times. The last AMA we did, I recapped all of it. Where were you guys at? Come on, man.
Get
back.
But here's the crazy part.
Told all the good stories.
It's also like, this isn't, like when Mike and I were growing up as real young kids, like if you didn't record it or you didn't watch it live, like you were screwed, right?
You're
like
over.
You can go press the button on the channel you should be tuned in, which is right here on YouTube, and rewatch any of that anytime.
Right.
Mike, he gave a super chat though, so he doesn't have to rewind now. He's asking you directly, you have to retell it.
I give him the TLDR, right? The TLDW. Too long, didn't watch, even though it was at the first part of the episode.
Listen, if Cody's going to give you a $9.99 super chat, like you just got to replay it. You got to retell it for everybody.
Cody, there was a lot of problems with communication last year. So the guys who actually do podcasts for the Dolphins, former players, tapped into the organization around them. These aren't reporters. These are guys who are just around the facility all the time. Dolphins legends who are there. Also do podcasts and stuff on it, but they talked about how the play calls were too long. McDaniel had some communication problems, specifically with the offensive line. They're working on paring that down, but the organization as a whole believes in Tua. They believe that they're going to be able to protect him this year. So the short version is I was already in on Tua, but just hearing the reassurance that the organization, the receivers, they're all on the same page, and they know that protecting, keeping Tua healthy is important. But they do love him because he flat out played really, really well last year when healthy. So they're working on it. They're working on it, paring down the offense, making it more efficient instead of 22 word play calls that take 25 seconds on the play clock just to get in. And they're going to the line with 4 or 5 seconds left. It's going to be a lot more efficient. So,
I mean, I think at this point, like that, I really like all that information because it does help me feel better about Tua on the field. But I think at this point, as good as that information is, it's really good stuff, and makes me more willing to buy in because I bought in. I've drafted him in startups. Like, y'all are tripping. Let me just take him here in the third. Like, come on.
It's crazy.
But the thing I think is, for most people, that probably arrows it up a little bit. Like, it helps, but I think most people are basically like, I'm willing and I have more risk tolerance for this player than most, or I'm just so afraid of the guy that I put so much value in that one hit ruins his career. And I think that's the biggest problem for people right now because now, to your point, I know you've already said this, they feel very good. That they don't feel as an organization that he's a hit away from retiring. They picked up the 5th-year option. They want to extend him. So I think with a good year this year, a lot of that narrative could be maybe a little more in the back of people's mind as opposed to in the front of their minds right now. I think in the quarterback market that we have today, I'm willing to bet on Tua and understand the risk is that there's a bunch of risk with him. Like maybe he does actually take a couple more hits and his career shortened, but I normally play in 3 to 5 year windows anyway. So for me, I'm more than comfortable with where he's going in value. I'll tear down to Tua. I'll take him in startups, right?
Just about in any format, any kind of thing you play in. Like I did a ton of underdog Superflex drafts, and the risk is already baked in.
Right, correct.
The risk is baked in for redraft. He's going later and later. You got shittier quarterbacks going above him. You're like, I don't understand this. This is a 1-year thing. This isn't even Dynasty. It's best ball. There's no waiver moves or trades. The risk is already baked in that format. The risk sure as hell is baked in Dynasty formats. In Dynasty
big
Superflex.
Big time.
Like I'm for what Tua costs, like I will buy him everywhere. If I miss, I miss. I don't really give a shit. Like you're okay. You're okay.
Do you know where Tua's going right now in keep trade cut? Just to give you an idea of the people.
QB 15, maybe.
You're close. Just behind that. It's QB 16, Mike.
You shit me. It's past QB 15.
So do you want to know who's ahead of him? Or can you guess? Who do you think's quarterback 15, 14, 13, 12 type thing?
Is Daniel Jones ahead of him?
Sure is. He's the very next one ahead.
Bitch.
Mike loves him from Daniel Jones.
Stroud?
Well, all the rookies, other than your guy, Will Levis, who's behind him. So CJ, A-Rich, and Bryce are all ahead. Kyler's ahead. Watson's ahead. Dak's ahead. There's your 15.
Those guys I understand. Like
No, I know. I'm giving you the 15 ahead. So that means that you got Daniel Jones.
Oh.
He did get the contract, and they did, give the franchise to Barkley, which I think that was very necessary for Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones didn't have Barkley this year, I would be petrified of having Daniel Jones shares. But
now the whole offense is Daniel Jones.
But I do like that. I hope that they either get a deal done or that he comes to play on the franchise tag, whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm not putting him ahead of Tua even now. Like, because here's my thing. I think with Daniel Jones, if you're going to put him ahead of Tua, like, you have to have a couple things. One, you have to bake in that this year, when he did have a great rushing season, that he continues that. Because that's what made his fantasy value this year, if you don't realize this. 700 rushing yards is very rare for a runner in the quarterback position. He has to keep doing that. And then on top of that, Mike, how much do we say that Daniel Jones has top 12 dynasty range scoring in his season, like season-wise, for the rest of his career? Like, do we think that he has this longevity? Because the reason you bet against Tua is longevity, is my point. Why is Daniel Jones so much assured, even without injury, that he has longevity, right?
Right. And for people out there who don't believe us, right, we're going way too long on this one, but it's Cody, so we had to. But if you don't believe us, I mean, a lot of you play in leagues with us. I play in 30+. Adam, You got to be in the 20s by now.
I think actually this last one you put me into the 30s. So
there we go, baby.
You probably are in the 40s at this point. But we're in our 5th auction startup this offseason, by the way.
If you don't believe us and you're in a league with us and you have Tua and one of us happens to have Daniel Jones, send that trade over straight up. Like, we put our money where our mouth is. I swear I'll hit the button.
I have notification issues on Sleeper, right? I don't have trust issues. I just have notification issues.
Put me on
So
Twitter.
go to Discord,
whatever.
go to Twitter. As soon as I see it, I'll hit the button. I promise that. That's factual.
For sure.
I won't second guess it. All right, Cody.
Now we can get to Daniel Walker's question.
Daniel, sorry to do that. I was going to answer yours first, but Cody, he wants priority. Daniel, appreciate the super chat. 10 team start, 8, 1 quarterback PPR, shallow bench, epic roster. I like to hear that. I wouldn't mind you giving it to us, but won't miss the assets. Deployed Scott's process. All right. Well, I believe you now. JJ or DK plus 102 JSN in a very early 24 first. Is that too much? That probably is too much for me, to be honest with you.
Yes. That is way too much.
I can't do that, man. And even in one quarterback, when I think about it, right? If you say the minute you say very early, that makes me think there's a real chance that that's Harrison Jr. If you say that it's JSN, as much as Mike said that he wouldn't pay up for him, and Marvin Harrison Jr. and DK, I'm not doing that. Like that's I'm good.
That's 3 very good assets for one.
If this is DK and JSN and
DK and
107,
right,
108, 109,
right.
Cool. Especially when you tell me you have an epic roster and you're willing to tier up. Okay.
Right.
But DK, I think there's a scenario where Seattle drafts a quarterback this year and plays behind Geno. And then next year people are creaming their pants about DK again when they haven't for a while. Right? And then all of a sudden you got DK, JSN, who could be very sexy. And then if that ends up being Marvin Harrison Jr., now you're not going to hate Justin Jefferson. He's that dude. But that's a lot of consolidation, man. And they're really, really good pieces. There's no fluff there.
Listen, you told me this was DK, the 102, and just a random 24 first.
I'm with you. Agreed.
Go
I'll
for
do
it. Full send. I'll send it.
Yep.
If I'm wrong and that ended up being an early 24 first, would I go,
you hate it, but you'll live with it. Like, you didn't know.
Man, but I didn't know. But
process move.
If you're already putting it in as like, no, man, this is one
if
of
you
the
know this
fish in our
team is
league,
one of
this
the
dude
worst
is
teams,
horrible.
can't
This
do it.
dude is horrible, or this guy's buying his pick back, or whatever the case is.
Mike, I have those type of picks in a bunch of my leagues where I'm like, all right, this pick right here, it's not leaving. It's not leaving right now. It's like in what's it called? Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Our guy Fizzle, man. Our guy Fizzle's in the building. He took over an orphan. And that orphan happened to already trade me Fizzle's pick. And I look at his roster and I go, good luck.
Come to me.
Like, you got paid the tax, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
There's 2 ways. You can either go try to win or you pay the tax. So
you don't want to pay the tax? That's fine. Like
Daniel, can I say this I appreciate the super chat. 1, 2. I think one of the pieces needs to shift, right? Like for me, if you could say that was a generic 24 first that wasn't like locked into early, or if that could even be a player in a different range. Let's say it's a receiver further down the line. I'd be okay with it, but
right.
This is just too much, man. This is just too much. Cody's super chatting us again just to talk noise, I think. All right, gents. I got a lady to please. I'm out. Love you guys. No need to put this up.
Okay, Cody. Appreciate you, buddy.
Cody, I guess when this is over, we'll see you in the voice chat in the Savage.
His wife kicked him out of the bed.
Yeah. Well, it's exactly what it's going to be. But Cody, man, we'll see you in a little bit. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate the love as always, man. We have a bunch of questions to get to, Mike. We have answered almost exclusively super chats, and we have so many questions. I don't know where to start, but I'm going to try to find a good one here. If you do want your questions answered, do super chat them. But
so I can promise you during the 7 hours plus that we'll be streaming on Saturday, there'll be ample time for questions too. So if you missed out,
we'll get back to it, and you'll have more clarity. But this is last call, Mike. This is the last call before the draft. So let's answer as many as we can. If you see something in here, Mike, because there's so many of them. If you see something that's worth noting, just go ahead and let me know what the question is.
It hurts my eyes if I look too closely. They're going so fast. Chat's going nuts.
It is bananas right now. All right, what are y'all's thoughts on Boutte? You know what's crazy, Jeremy? This is his name's actually Booty. We've been lied to all along.
Booty.
It's kind of like my one friend. He told me he was Greek for his whole life, and then he did one of those DNA tests, and then he came back 5% Greek. It's like, so you're telling me my whole life and your whole life's been a lie? You're not actually that.
Man,
where would you be willing to take him in rookie drafts? What do you think?
Adam, these pre-NFL ones. I know I kind of said back end second, but we got so deep.
Third.
I know we got so deep into it. There were so many good players or running backs that I wanted to shoot my shot on, and these tight ends that I think might get round 1, round 2 draft capital, where I go, okay.
Or it's just a guy that, even with early day 3 pick value, that the player, the speed score, all that just means too much. So I'll just take that.
I'm gonna say just where I'm at right now. The early part of the third is a decent spot for him. For me, I'm willing to shoot enough shots there on Boutte.
Interesting. I'll tell you, I got one of him at the 401, and it was an auto pick, and I was thinking let me say something, but I'm you know what? Actually, no, this one I'll just hold it.
Listen, we could be doing this stream on Saturday, and if he goes in the 5th round, the 6th round,
I'm out.
That's out the window.
I'm out,
man. I'm good.
He is so close. I'll be honest, I don't have, other than that auto pick, I don't have any exposure to him, and I'm very, very worried. And I'll be honest, man. Regardless of the draft capital, I think if I did have shares, I want to move. It's one of those where if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be okay. There's gonna always be people that I will miss on, and I know what the cost is going in. I know if I miss here, what will be at stake, and I'm okay if I miss on Kayshon Boutte. I'm being completely honest. If I miss, I'm okay. Everything about him and his profile is not what I want to bet on. You know what the one thing is that people want to bet on? I'm sure you do. If you had to guess his profile, everything about him, there's one thing that stands out as a standout. And what do you think that is?
Breakout age?
It's 100% it. Now, why is that something that I think is very troublesome for all this class? Anyone that has that as their only thing. Do you know what their breakout age happened during?
COVID.
The COVID season, which was heavily shortened, a lot of people weren't playing. It was fluke. So you're telling me the only thing that he has in his profile is that he did it in a COVID season. So in a small sample size, he had 700 receiving yards. He didn't even do that much. So that's what we're pushing him up on, because that's what his name was built on. Is he's the early breakout age? Everyone knows the name. He hasn't done anything since.
What if he's a day 2 selection though?
The reason I would like to move him then. I'm with you. That point, I would like to move the name. Yeah, I want to move him. If I have him there and it's a 2nd round pick, maybe someone will actually value him higher and I can trade him away.
I don't know. For the 208, if he's a day 2 selection, I'm in.
Let me say that I would take him at the 208, but all along I'm probably looking to flip this player.
Nah, I'm looking at it as there's my next Amon-Ra St. Brown right there, baby. Guy I like.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, stop. Amon-Ra St. Brown had great production in college, man.
So did Boutte.
He didn't. These last 2 years, he was not good.
Okay.
He had a good shortened COVID season, is what my point is with the breakout.
And then he had a good year and then he got injured. I'm not going to hold that against him.
His target share wasn't good. His catch rate wasn't good. He's been at best in college. He's been draftable in the NFL. He's not what his name carries. That's my point. Amon-Ra St. Brown had great production. It's miles different from Kayshon Boutte's production. Now, does that mean that Kayshon Boutte is locked into being bad in the NFL? No. It just means that I want to bet on the other side. That's all it means.
I mean, the guy had 500 yards in half a season before he got hurt.
Sure.
He's on his way to having, in a 12-game season, 1,100 yards. And we're he didn't really do anything in college. Come on.
Yeah, but it's a small sample size in the COVID year. It's a small sample size when he was hurt. And then last year, you have quitting on the team, 500 yards in a full season, right?
That I'll give you. That's
so
not
my point is, Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't have that in his production profile.
But
in the year you're supposed to smash,
I'm not going to act like
do anything.
2021 he wasn't damn good. Like, we're having conversations before he has this mysterious injury of him over JSN, and it's not even close for a lot of people. So, like, that didn't just disappear.
Okay.
We never had those conversations about Amon-Ra, ever.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, the only thing with him was draft capital. Like, his production was awesome. His production was awesome in college.
We did not have those conversations, though. There was no pre-NFL rookie drafts where anybody's taking Amon-Ra in the first round.
Right, but my point is because it's built off of stuff that was not that solidified. It's based on a shortened COVID year, and it's based on a shortened season that he had in 2021, I'm sorry.
Man, we are on very different fences about Boutte here.
I think so. I mean, Mike, do you know who they played in their first 6 games? Nobody. Like, their first 4 games, they played nobody. You know that? They played Central Michigan, McNeese State. Like, if we want to get into the weeds on this, I think there's reasons to believe that Kayshon Boutte is not that great of a prospect. And the main thing that puts his profile up, to my point, is the early breakout age and the fact that it's a name people know a lot, right? So I'm not saying that he's doomed. I'm not trying to tell you that he's doomed. I'm saying for me, I would much rather bet against the name cachet based on what I see in his production profile. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I mean, you don't have to agree with that sentiment. I'm just giving you that's my personal view on it.
I feel you.
All right. So, yeah, it seems like you wanted to say something else. You can.
No.
I get it, man. We are on different wavelengths on this one. I think
we'll argue about this on Saturday at some point for hours. I'm sure.
If he gets draft capital, it'll be a different discussion. But like, there's nothing in his athletic profile that makes me excited. There's nothing in
Cam Akers and Antonio Gibson 2.0 coming up, boys.
College dominator, college YPR, everything about his profile, college, target share, like. Nothing about him makes me excited other than the breakout age and the fact that he was someone that was trending up in his early part of the sophomore year. But since then, I'm worried. I'm very worried. And there's a lot of other people in this class I would rather have. So that's my point with him. All right, let's get on to another question. Let's go to Dynasty Alex. Wasn't he the one that laid out Ashton Doolin this last year? I don't know. Oh, he was talking about Derwin James. Did he?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably. That sounds like Derwin James. So,
but I don't follow enough Ashton Doolin to really give a shit.
Malone College, right here, right in my neck of the woods. So Ashton Doolin, baby.
That's not a shot at Ashton Doolin, but I remember people trying to push him on me last year, like he was going to be fantasy relevant. Actually, I remember somebody specifically pushing him on everyone for the last few years, like he's supposed to be something. And
who?
Ashton Doolin.
Who was pushing him? Who was pushing him though?
I don't name names. I don't name and shame around here.
Okay.
You really got to piss me off to do that. But
I know that Mike has at times named and shamed, so
okay.
We won't go down that road.
It's a varying degree.
I think that if Kayshon Boutte had a career like Ashton Doolin, I wouldn't be surprised.
Jesus Christ. Come on.
Hey, that's just it's with all due respect. Hey guys, I have the 104 and I'm okay at quarterback. Guy at 105 only has Kyler and is trying to trade up. What should I ask for? 12-team Superflex.
Well, I think this goes to your point about the Will Levis versus like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, whoever that guy is. I think you can ask for a first.
Yeah, I think because at 105, people are probably not really interested at taking Will Levis there. And maybe they would, but they don't want to.
Right. This isn't a shit league where I get sniped at 105 on Will Levis. Come on.
I mean, can you ask – here's the question that I have, though. And it probably depends on your league and what people are willing to do and how early it is and how sharp they are. Like, is someone really going to send a future first or that type of player value to go up one spot?
Bro, people hate Will Levis.
I know they do. I know. No, I don't disagree with that specific point.
And
I just
people
mean
love Bryce Young or
would somebody Stroud there just say, you know what, I'm going to take JSN or trade the 105 that is JSN for something else, right? Like, I mean, that's the smarter play than just necessarily moving up one spot for a first. But I think that's what I'm asking still, if I'm being honest. Like
listen, man, I'm reading like Reddit Dynasty posts about how Bryce Young is, basically the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. So Will Levis is apparently Zach Wilson or worse, and Bryce Young is Patrick Mahomes. So, you think a 24 first is out of the question. Some people's minds, that's probably cheap. Like we put that trade on the trade show, and I bet somebody be in the comments going, "Hey, that's too little. You should have had another 2 first."
All right, so let's say we start to finish the question. We start with the first. Let's say the guy's like no. So let me ask you, if you're okay at quarterback, and we assume that JSN will be there at 105,
right?
And they're going to come up and get whatever's left, whether that's Bryce, CJ, or A-Rich.
Give me the 205. If the guy
okay, I was going to say if you can get a
205.
early mid-second or a late first type player in value, I think that's what you should be shooting your shot for, because you are okay going back there, but you just want to make sure they feel it if they're going to go get, because any one of those guys, I think people want to say they don't have the greatest ceilings, but they all, I think, could end up being top 10 quarterbacks if they play well. So in dynasty value.
I'm not putting this cap on any more quarterbacks.
Right. Thank you.
Can they meet? I don't care.
Right.
I'm done
we
with
have been wrong on
talk.
we've been wrong on so many quarterbacks. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that a quarterback with high draft capital that we want to say is mid is guaranteed to be that. So you want to make them feel the tax on that.
We got a guy sitting at QB3 or QB4 who's not like super athletic, doesn't have a super strong arm, right? But he's just highly efficient. And he has great weapons. So I'm not putting this cap on like, oh, this guy can't be a top 5 QB or he can't break into the top 12. I'm not doing that shit. So
yep. All right. So J-Dog, I would start with the first and, try to work your way into a player in late first value or mid-second at the very worst. Otherwise, you just stay at 104. All right. Got a question for y'all. Do you think we are overrating what happened last year with Kelsey? Just an example, but you can extrapolate to other players.
No.
Kelsey
done it for multiple years.
Kelsey, to Mike's point, is one that I would say no. Like, can Kelsey fall off a cliff at any point? Yes. He is old enough at this point to where he could, but he has proven eliteness for multiple years, and he's still attached to the best quarterback in football, and there's no immediate passing weapon outside of him that gets in his way of doing that. Kelsey's, I think, a bad example of the question. Are there other guys at other positions or even at the tight end position that are overvalued? Yes. I think right now on a contending team, like I'm just going to ride Kelsey for the rest of the time unless someone's offering me something silly. So
we've done spike weeks and consistent weeks. I've tracked them for 2 years, Adam. Like we have it in our Patreon. This past year, right? Just the point. Kelsey, he has a combined score, so just quick and dirty. You get a point essentially if you have an above average week. For tight ends, it's pretty strict. You got to be top 8 or better.
Yeah.
Like not top 12. You got to be a top 8 tight end or better. You get 1.25 points. You get a little multiplier if you're a spike week, and for a tight end, that's also increased. You got to be a top 3 tight end, not top 5. You got to be top 3. So last year, Kelsey got a 22.64, right, on an awesome year. Same formula, same thing. Year before, 20.31. Like there was another guy who was close. Mark Andrews had a fabulous year in 2021, but Kelsey's still number 1. And then the fall off at tight end after that is just massive again, right? You got guys in the 14s, the 12s, the 10s, same as this year. So no.
Yep.
The only difference is Mark Andrews just didn't come close to Travis Kelsey like he did the year before. Travis Kelsey is still really good. It's not overrating him. He's a unicorn at the tight end position.
He's a unicorn. He doesn't have the age thing on his side, but as far as like how good he is and what his warp is relative to a shallow position,
I think
you just hold it. You just hold it.
Yeah, you're never going to get return of what he's actually worth to your team.
Unless somebody has Mahomes and wants to stack so bad and is going to offer you something crazy, there's just no way. There's just no way I'm moving him because of that specific point. Age matters so much in Dynasty. It's going to always keep him too far from what his worth is.
Doesn't it always feel like whether it's an auction startup or whether it's a snake draft startup, doesn't it always feel like you always reach when you take them? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it never feels good because of the age, but you're just like, I
have to do it. I have to do it. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think that you just have to understand that it's a asset that can crater, but for what your cost of investment is or what you're going to get out of your current asset, it's just you just hold it. So for him, no. For other people, maybe. Like, there's definitely conversations, but that one specifically not necessarily.
We did get an auction question that just came in. Why is it the better format? And I just wanted you to know you had 8 minutes to decide whether you wanted to bid up Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I actually have it up, and I'm actually thinking about discussing this on air with you. I don't have to screen share it, but I can if you want. I have it up, and I'm waiting to discuss this because we just had Kelsey.
You're good.
Let's talk about the superior format. Where's who asked the question? Was it pretty recent?
It was the last one. Red Pill Stepdad.
Oh, beautiful. Great time because I'm actually, as you were talking, Mike, I was half listening. I'm also half looking to see what I need to do on bidding. Brock Purdy, I can tell you, will go free of my bids at the first
hard
one.
Pass.
So let me ask you this, Mike. With the format we're currently in with the Shit Auction 5,
right?
Mahomes at 340, which is 34% of budget.
Right.
Is that appropriate or does that need to go up?
I feel it's cheap considering, right? We've done a lot of auction leagues or a lot of startups lately, and everyone's different, right? They're kind of all over the map. The reason I say that it's a little different is, Adam, this is one of the few ones where it's like start 11.
That's
like,
the main thing for me.
That
was the main thing. It felt really short. When I looked at it, I was like, Mike, you know what? Mike's been working nights. Like, he hasn't been doing content. Like, he's clearly, his head's, he needs to get back to where he's working days because this is the shallowest league we have put together as a starting roster. I think since we've done any patron leagues, right?
Right.
So it's for those that want to know, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers. It is a double tight end league, and then there's 2 flex and a super flex. So when we're starting only 11, Mike, I know it's best ball still, and that means a lot, right? Because you can put any single player in your team up there, but man, if you think about it though, it's still only 11 players. So what that means is even your best lineup only has 9 skill players to catch up to advantages at Superflex and quarterback. So that's what makes Mahomes so damn valuable. And I think that, you know what, as much as I don't like paying more, he's already up to 355 now, by the way.
Yeah, I was just sitting here listening to you going, yeah, you're right. That's way too cheap.
I'm thinking I'm going to go higher too. So let's see what we got to do.
We tested proxies out here, boys.
We'll keep this going in the draft. But how is auction superior? So I would say this though.
Love it.
The reason for this question before we get to the next one. There's so many different ways, Mike. I don't know if you want to talk about it first, or if you want me to go.
Go ahead. I'll discuss it. The reason I love auction, and I kind of talk about it, and I got some patrons who want to do a traditional snake startup, and I'll probably do one more, but I just don't enjoy them as much anymore. I don't, because auction, almost every single one of them is different. But the best thing I love about auction is the fact that if I want a guy, I think he's valued at a certain part. It's just a matter of how much I'm willing to pay, man. I don't have to wait. I don't get sniped. I'm not waiting to pick at 11 and the guy I really wanted, the last of that tier that I was desperate. I was like, man, I really like this pick. Goes at, the 10 spot right before I pick. And then I'm on tilt, tilt, right? Like usually when I'm doing a snake draft, Adam, like I don't draft like based on rankings. I draft based on tiers. Sure. And I never really want to be at the end of a tier because I always feel like I'm chasing. But there are some guys that just fit in a giant tier bucket where it's like, these are the top 9 quarterbacks that I'm really interested in. And you pick 11th and the 9th guy goes right before you at pick 10 and you go, shit, I guess now I'm going to, I'm going to start with Jamar Chase, or I'm going to start with Justin Jefferson, or I'm taking the rookie 101. I'm taking Bijan. Like I'm going a different direction. I don't want to take QB 10. I don't want to take QB 11. I don't want to chase everybody else. But it's like that up and down the snake draft, like all the time. Now, sometimes you can create your own runs, which feels good. So that's a plus of a traditional startup.
That's a plus of the snake, correct?
In an auction, man, we got, what do we got? 15, 16 quarterbacks that are being bid on right now. Like, if you want one of these guys, if you want 2 of these guys, you can get them. Just pick the 2 guys that you really like. And if you bid up high enough, they're yours. It doesn't matter. Nobody can snipe them from you. Right? It's just a matter of who really wants them more. And it's always a nice feeling like maybe you don't get a Patrick Mahomes, but maybe you're like, I'm comfortable if I can get a Josh Allen or a Jalen Hurts too. Like you try Patrick Mahomes, you see how high he goes. But then you look and you go, well, $365 is too much for me. Well, then you can take that $365 you're willing to pay for Patrick Mahomes and you can put it on, Josh Allen, who's only at $280 or whatever it is. And maybe they let you have him there. So I just love auction. It opens up team building to an extreme where you can really hoard quarterbacks if you want, but you're going to pay for it. Not like the snake draft where it just seems like, if you've been in a draft with me, we get to a certain point, people aren't taking quarterbacks. Every single pick I'm going to take is a quarterback. Like, I don't really get that option in auction without having to pay the piper for it, without actually having to really, really spend my auction dollars to go get it. So,
I want to talk about auction a little bit too. Real quick, I don't know if you saw what I put up there.
He did.
I did reset Mahomes. I went to 37. That was about where I was going to stop, and I'm glad we found the proxy to just at least reset them. We do have 2 super chats to get to, Mike, but Dynasty Alex did mention we've been above 70 people watching consistently. Wow. We're right now we're at 93, Mike, and I'll tell you this. I know Mike, he's back getting to the early bird shift, and he's like, I got to wake up real early.
I got a half hour yet.
Well, what I'm going to say is this, Mike. If we get over 100 in here, we might have to push it to a touch more than a half hour.
Okay.
Not much. I know because you need to go to bed. But if we get over 100 people in the live stream, that's going to be an easy
we get
record.
over 100. I'll push it to 9:45.
There we go.
I'll pound down 3 giant shots of vodka and just pass out.
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure we put that out there. I did reset Mahomes. The one thing I do like to get to this question again real quick on the auction. I'm trying to find it. Okay. The thing about this too is I like an auction. What it does, so in a snake draft, right? Basically, people think that they have this pick and this pick, and they can kind of build their team because they have so many shots in each round, right?
Right.
So let's say you want Bijan really bad, and you can say, you know what, if I take him in the first, I know I can get a quarterback in the second, and in the third and the fourth. Maybe it's not the sexy ones, but I know I can build a team around this. What I love about in the auction is everybody has the same amount of dollars, and what that forces everyone to do is speak exactly to how much they value every single player because they can always go get that. One of the things that I found, and one of the reasons that I've talked about in Superflex leagues, that as much as everyone likes Bijan, that I don't know that he's 101, is an auction. And Mike, it's true right now. We have yet to see Bijan Robinson not only be the top rookie, which is 101, right, but to go ahead of one singular of the 3 quarterbacks, A-Rich, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young. And I think that doesn't necessarily speak against Bijan Robinson because no one's going to argue Bijan's the top running back. No one in their right mind would do that, right? But what it does say is that you can't really afford to not have a quarterback in Superflex, right? And that's why those other 3 always go ahead, whether it's CJ, Bryce, or A-Rich. So
this is our third auction with rookies actually included.
And they always are having Bijan lower than the QBs every single time. Every single time. And what you'd be shocked at is that Will Levis typically is lower than Bijan, but it's by a couple bucks. Like you're talking Bijan, the 101 in startups, or I'm sorry, the 101 in rookie drafts and like the 110 in startups is going $5 in $1,000 budget away from
not
Will
even
Levis.
that. Like even if you get you want to extrapolate it out to like auction dollars and like players that are worth like it may be $20 difference between the two.
Mike, we're at 97, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh my God, the $20 different is like Rashad White. So you're telling me Rashad White plus Will Levis gets you to Bijan in any league? No,
Mike, no, but that's
in an auction.
No, but here's the thing. This is the thing that's interesting, right? Because I think what happens is when people have a team formed and there's years to build value and start making markets, things are different. But when people are like, no, we're going to start a league off and I only have X amount of dollars, they'll tell you by that it is actually what the values are because of the Superflex position. That's the only reason that exists, right? If it wasn't scarce at the quarterback, if it was last year's market, we probably don't see this because everyone liked Russ, everyone liked Matt Stafford. My only point with the auction, why it's so superior for me, is that it forces everybody to show their cards. Every person has to show their cards as to what they think every single person goes for. And if Mahomes is going to go for 340, he goes. And if one person believes he shouldn't, it resets. Like that's what makes the auction so much more important for me. And then there's obviously strategy parts about it too. Somebody that says, okay, this player is worth this, but if they take 5 players at that value early, now they don't have any chance of leverage to go get the players they want for the rest of the draft. So there's a lot of layers in the auction that make it better for me.
The one thing I always found too is like fascinating. We talk about it all the time with auctions. It's just the QB market, and
it's amazing.
Like when we got this many nominations and this many, I mean, the whole top 12 of quarterbacks is up there, plus some rookies, right? They're on there. The Daniel Jones, the Jared Goff. There's not many quarterbacks left, so the people who are sitting there and sitting on their dollars, going like, oh, "I'll be fine," I'll get one of these next tier quarterbacks. It's like you may. But there's also going to be a guy who spent $300 for Trevor Lawrence that ain't going to let you have Kirk Cousins for cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
That isn't going to let that happen. Like, they're going to be looking for a second quarterback too. So what do you really want to spend on Kirk Cousins? And then you just look and like you get to that second tier of quarterbacks that start to come up, and all of a sudden you got Kirk Cousins going for $200, and you're going, what the hell? Like, Deshaun Watson only went for $200. So it happens every single time we do an auction, and it's hilarious.
T-Rock said, OMG, just got a tweet about the Vikings possibly trading up for 2 for Levis. This shit has to stop or we'll never hear the end from Mike. Listen, I got news for you, T-Rock. I'm going to close your chat out because even if this doesn't happen, you're going to never hear the end from Mike regardless about where he goes or Will Levis in general. We got a couple super chats. Sharky, appreciate the super chat, Sharky. How do you feel if you have the 108 this year? I don't feel good. Better to just trade it out or stay put and pick. My team needs running back, but not sure what I should do. Mike,
listen,
you want to hit it first?
Everywhere I've been, if I've got the 108, the 19, the 110, like those picks are the ones that I'm actively just exploring to see what it takes to trade up into the top 7, whether that's 5, 6, or 7, or that's the one I'm exploring to see if somebody will let me get out of it for a 24 first next year. Like JB hit it on the head. His list is a little bit higher because he's not as big a fan as like Will Levis as I am, but Matt Bruning's also talked about it too when he was on with you. These are just kind of the things that I want to do. Either I want to go up and I want to see what the cost is, or I want to see if somebody will let me out for 24 first.
Yeah, I think, Mike, what you're talking about too is what the reality is as far as like if you can move up, great. And if you can't, try to push, kick the can down the road, as Matt Bruning and I were talking about, right? But I think that those are the two most talked about scenarios. And I think if you're not playing with sharps, I think that can absolutely happen. Even if you are playing with people that are supposed sharps, you can definitely make it happen in the right scenario, given landing spots, right? By the time Thursday comes around, somebody probably is at the 108 or 109 that people will decide they want, whether it's Charbonnet getting the right draft capital, Addison going to a spot where there's a great quarterback, whatever. But here's what I will say that I think that is underappreciated, and I think one of the things that I've done a lot with when I've really hoarded a lot of picks. Now, it doesn't sound like this is the case here. It sounds like you just have the 108. But what I like to do is see if I can add. So I already know I want to kick it down the road for a middling first, even just a random first, right? To just reset it because I don't like this pick. So, like, in my mind, I already know it has the first round value, but I'm kind of associating it more with like an early second value. Truth be told, like that's in my heart, I know that's the truth. I don't want to admit it, but that is what the truth is. So what I like to do is see if I can make this piece go into a bigger trade, right? So let's say I want to up tier at a quarterback spot, or I want to up tier at a wide receiver, right? This 108 sounds a lot better for some people that want to get more depth than we know the 108 is. So if I can add this to a receiver that's decent to get into the elite tier, I want to do that. Can I add this pick and another future first to go take a middling quarterback to go get into T-Law and North? Right, like that. I think that's another avenue that you should explore. That I think because it just has the first 108 name to it, it might be more advantageous to do it in that type of a trade than you would think it would be.
It's like you could do that for the tier up for small margins in a lot of people's minds where it looks good to them. Like you 108 and Lamb to go to Chase or Jefferson.
Boom, or done.
108 and Dallas Goedert to go to Kyle Pitts or, Mark Andrews if that's your dude.
100%.
Hop up that tier. Doesn't even have to be at the quarterback spot, but I would also just like to package it and see if I can get a tier up at a player. Just on draft capital, though, I also want to see what it costs just to move up one more damn spot.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I agree. Like, I want to get it into the top 7. I want to tier it back to the 24 first. But I think another avenue that sometimes isn't looked at is like, can I add this 108? And let's even say I have to add an early second or a first down the line. But if I can get myself from Jerry Jeudy mix, right, into the top 10 receivers, I might even do that depending on what my leagues are. If it's a lineup, start 9, 10, whatever. If I can get from, if we go to quarterback, right, which is the biggest one, if I can go from Daniel Jones Tua range, and as much as I do like Tua, if I can get 108 and something else to get into the elite mix, I'm going to do that. And I think that number might give you more ability to do that than you think.
Here's a good one too. Tomorrow when Destination Dynasty comes out with Scott Connor, I did 45 minutes or so with him about the running back landscape, specifically how it pertains to this rookie draft. Yep. Go check that one out, Sharky, too, because it's a good discussion. Good. And we talked a lot about, like the Zach Charbonnet and deals that we would do just for Charbonnet, like outside of the draft with no pick 108 attached to it.
Yep.
That makes sense. You can go even higher just because you still have the pick 108. So check that one out tomorrow when that drops, because it'll be a good one for you.
All right, we're down. We're at 92, Mike. I don't think the 100's coming. I would love for it to happen, just for us to get to 100, and then 2, I wouldn't mind asking Mike to stay for another 15. All right, let's get to the other super chat. And you know what we're going to do, Mike? We're going to try to rapid fire, because if we don't, we're not even going to get close to answering so many of these questions. All right, let's touch the super chat, and let's see if we can rapid fire. All right, $10 from Kuski. Appreciate it. What's up, fellas? In a handful of 14-team Superflex and a couple where I hold the 102 and I don't need a quarterback, how much do you add to move up to the 101 just to hold it, whether you intend to take Bijan? You don't. Oh, Mike's already got the 0. No, you don't. Let me say this.
The 102 is the best pick in this draft, especially for 14-team Superflex leagues.
Mike just hit it on the head. In 12-team, the reason I actually am more interested in the 102 than a lot of people are.
I even like it in 12-team.
Right.
14-team amplifies that.
Because in 12-team, you're basically forcing the manager ahead of you to say, I think my team's good enough to take Bijan and kind of take the luxury, but he's going to be so good, it's worth it. And then you get your top pick at the quarterback. And assuming this is going to be after the NFL draft, you know that. You know where people are going to want to value the things. So now if you don't need a quarterback, even in 12-team, I can trade that for a lot. When you get to 14-team, for someone to even take Bijan at 101, I'm not saying it won't happen, but they have to feel really good about their quarterback room in 14-team to even do that. So The reason I say that is at 102, you still have the luxury of, what's this guy going to do? Is he really going to fade quarterback? And if he does, cool. And if he doesn't, now all of a sudden I have Bijan, which you don't even have to take. The best part about this, and I have this exact pick and scenario that I know I'm going to play out. If that does happen, you don't even have to take Bijan. But all of a sudden that pick on the clock has more value.
Right.
So you can trade it for more on the clock. So what you're not doing at any point right now, period, point blank period, is moving up to 101 just to hold it. No. You have the card you want in 14-team because it's amplified with positional scarcity more. You want to hold that 102 more than anything.
I'd send the guy who's got the 101 in this league
$1 in fab.
I'd send him $1 in fab and the 102 for his 101.
Don't even do that. Just sit back and let him know you're not thinking about him, because that's what Mike's trying to illustrate. Just don't even think about him. And now if he sends you some offers, just hit decline, because he's not going to send you something that means enough.
I make them make the choice. That's 100%. Why I love the 102. It's so awesome.
In 14-team, it's so easy, though. Yeah, because the positional scarcity forces quarterback values up so high that it's like we're having a real conversation about who 101 is in 14-team. So I'll just sit back.
Yep.
Appreciate the super chat. Hope that answers for you, Kusi.
I love the 102, man. It's my favorite spot to pick. It's my favorite spot.
In 14-team, by the way, so Kusi, I can tell you, in the Premier League at Destination Devy, the Royal Rumble, so it's a 14-team league, but it's 2 copies. So it's really 28 teams, and there's two sides. So I have what is the 103, which is the first copy of 102. And I can tell you that I have seen offers, good and bad, that I just always decline. I'm not moving, even if it's for 101, because in this scenario, I'm so confident that I'll either get one share of Bijan, which is all I need. I just need one person ahead of me to take a quarterback, which I think will happen given how scarce the position is, that 103 all of a sudden carries the same weight as 101 did, right? And I think that's where you're kind of going to play that same idea. It doesn't say 101, but whether Bijan goes ahead or behind you, on the clock, that pick moves for so much more. So just hold.
Love it.
All right. Let's see if we can rapid fire, Mike. This is not our this is antithetical to us, but let's see what we can do in 15 minutes. Can we rapid fire? You ready?
All right.
Let's do it. All right. 12-team Superflex. Get Lamar, give 102, 111, 24 first, 210, and Rodgers. Is that too much for Lamar or worth it for an elite quarterback? Start 11 lineup.
I want the package.
I do too. I love Lamar, but this is like 102. I'm in. 102. I'm in. 111. I'm in. 24 first. I'm kind of in, but I'm curious to the other side. 210 and Rodgers. I think I'll just take the other side.
Especially just not knowing that 24 first, especially if it's mine. Like,
yeah.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'll sit with the assets.
Yep. Great spot to be and terrible spot to be, depending on your quarterbacks. He's talking about the 102. I'm actually. Let's see what Scott says. I've got a 14-team Superflex lineup. I have the 102 with Mahomes and Herbert. Problem. The 101 has Josh Allen, Watson, and Jordan Love. Ouch. I mean, I get that, Scott, but at the same time, like you don't necessarily. But you don't necessarily. Like at that point, 101's obviously going to take Bijan. I think is the clear discussion here, right? But that to me, that's still fine because I'm already seeing 101 has two of the elite quarterbacks, and then Jordan Love that people are over their skis on. You have Mahomes and Herbert, right? So there's already two teams that have the early picks that have a lot of the top 12. So that means when you have 102, it's the top quarterback in the class. And if people won't trade up for that pick, you just take the player and trade it to the quarterback needy team when they're ready to pay, even if it's not on the clock. I think that's the point we're kind of making is that I'm going to just lean into the quarterback position scarcity in 14 team even more because somebody has to either pay or their team will pay. Like that's just the way it goes in 14 team.
Right. I started a little mini horde. You want them?
Come get them.
I got 3 of the top 15 quarterbacks in a 14-team Superflex. Come to me.
104 for B Hall. So 104 for Breece Hall. He just sent this as well. Really wants Breece. I've accepted. I've had the 102, 104, 205, 206, 212, 302, 402. Other notable running backs are Dameon Pierce, Brian Robinson, and Damian Harris.
I think I'll take the 104. Like in Superflex League.
That's really close.
Right.
I think I would take the 104 as well. I think Breece Hall is one of these guys that value-wise, it makes sense. I just don't know if I want to take that risk, man. I don't know how healthy he's going to be to start the season. I do believe he's an elite talent, and I want him long term. But like, how long is his shelf life in Dynasty where he's top 20 asset versus the 104? Like, you're going to get your last pick, right?
Right.
I think it's a lot safer at 104. If I'm being honest.
I think I want the 104 to be honest. Rapid fire, boom, right now, 104.
Done. 104. All right, rapid fire. Good call, Mike. Let's go to another question. Okay, so another inbox trade from JT. Let me know. He's going to give Breece Hall and get the 107 and the 108. Other pick is 102. Obviously, just traded the 110 for Olave.
Killed that one, that last part. This one, I'll take Breece Hall over the 7 and the 8.
I would too. Well, so that's Will Levis and Addison. You good with that for Breece?
If he falls that far. I mean, I know most of it's bullshit that comes out now. Like the week before the draft is 90. It's probably 109% bullshit if I'm being honest. But, Will Levis getting taken at 2, Minnesota trading up to 2 to get Will Levis. Like if that shit happens, no matter how much people hate Will Levis, there's going to be a little shift, and you're probably not getting Will Levis at 107 anymore. So,
okay,
with that,
okay,
like it's not a lock.
Okay,
it's not a
Gibbs and Addison now for Breece Hall. That's what that would be then.
Probably Breece Hall.
Okay, I actually think I'm okay there, but it's not. It doesn't feel great, but I think I would do it.
Let's say if it was a best ball league or deeper starting lineup, take the 7 and the 8. If it's
lineup,
start 9, start 10, start 11.
I'm willing to get Breece there because he could be a difference maker at running back there, even lineup. What's the strategy for pick 11 and Superflex start 10 PPR? He's newer to Dynasty.
Ooh, that's a good one. And now that I'm officially off nights, we'll continue the startup draft slot series.
Yeah, we'll get back to the long lost startup series.
We have
the thumbnails already done. We have everything ready, but Mike will get back to it.
It's not that bad if it's third round reversal. It's absolutely fucking brutal if it's not third round reversal. So 111, if you can get a Watson. If you can get a Lamar, if they fall that far, that's my play. If not, I'm not chasing Kyler, Dak, to a rookie quarterback, Daniel fucking Jones. Like, I'm not doing it. I'll build differently.
Gosh, no.
I'll build differently, and I'm gonna start probably receiver. Maybe I start Bijan and then come back with a CeeDee Lamb or something like that. Like, it does open up a lot of possibilities, but we'll dive into that more when I get to the 111. I stop being a piece of shit.
Well, the thing is, though, you're gonna you add Bijan into this mix, right? I don't think I'm personally going to take him at 111, but I think he's going to go maybe even at 110, or someone will take him before you get back on the clock in the second. Right. So if you add Bijan, you add the top 8 quarterbacks easy. You add Chase, you add Jefferson, right? You're already at 11, and then you just think that you're on the turn. So,
I will say this: it's not the worst spot to be in there. I do prefer if it's third round reversal because you get that early third round pick, so you do get an advantage that some of the other guys don't have. So there are a lot of startups where you can actually get 2 top 12 quarterbacks, and you're the only team in the league that really doesn't have to pay up to get it. So
that's what I was just going to say, because you have a chance, I think, given that some of these quarterbacks are being faded, like you could end up, you probably feel like you're reaching, right? When you talked about this already with like Kyler and Dak, right? But like you could end up though taking Watson and
Dak with your first 2 picks isn't a bad start.
I think you could. That's what I think I would be looking to do here, is probably get Watson and Dak, and then in the back
the key is
third round reversal.
First one. The key is that first one needs to be in the top 9, like Watson at worst for me to feel good about it.
Sure, but
like I don't want to go.
If it doesn't, if it's not that way, then I'm gonna end up getting a Chase or a Jefferson here. So like I'm good.
It's not that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right. So I think the scenario here is if you can get 2 of the back end quarterback 12s, cool. But and then in the third round reversal, you'll get a top receiver, and you start building your team around those quarterbacks. But the one thing the edge does have in the back end in the third round reversal is that you can get 2 quarterbacks that are in the top 12. Whereas if you get Mahomes or Allen, by the time it comes back around, you're probably going to have to reach on a rookie, or like Kyler, who's depressed in value. So that's the edge you have, Ryan C. But I know Mike will get into it in a whole series probably in a couple weeks here. So if you want more, stay tuned to that. All right, we're running out of time. I know this, but let's see if we can get some couple more. 12-team Superflex start 10 lineup. If I can move A-Rod, Chubb, Jacobs, Keenan for Lamar and a 24 first, that's a smash, correct? I have one back.
That one is a smash.
Yeah, I'm in, because you're only losing, if I read this right, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So like you're losing some aging assets, but I'm cool with Lamar in the 24 first.
Start 10, like Keenan becomes way less valuable. I mean, how much longer?
You're riding him as like a flex option, right? Like you're just like hoping that he's going to just be really good points per game. But when he cliffs, it is all gone. All the value's gone.
I'm good. The part that you're just getting a random 24 first is what makes it, right? You do those 4 pieces for just Lamar, I go, I don't know. I probably just ride those dudes out, but you get that random 24 first leverage piece later down the road. Lock up the elite quarterback and get a
I look at it this way. I'll take Lamar for A-Rod, Chubb, and either Keenan or Jacobs. I would do that, right? In lineup. And then the fact that for whatever your 4th piece is, get the 24 first, easy. I'm in.
Yep.
Easy. So that's not debatable for me anyway. All right. What are we feeling about Pittman? Are we worried if he gets paired with Richardson? I feel like I should bail out now and upgrade. Okay. But why are we worried about that? Like, he just had Matt Ryan, who we thought was a quarterback upgrade, be awful. And he had a couple spike weeks and showed promise still. He's commanded targets. Like, what's the worst thing that he could have? Yeah, Sam Ehlinger. He had last year he had even though Mike defended him staunchly, Carson Wentz. Like, he has not had a good quarterback yet. So why are we certain that a bad quarterback means he's doomed now? Because he hasn't been yet. You're muted, Big Holmes.
I think MPJ is undervalued in just about every format. I got a lot of them in these underdog drafts. He's going late. So not really worried about him. Obviously, if you can do one of those nice moves where people value him higher than the guy that's pretty much in the same tier and you get a plus on it, I'd do that. But I'm not like panicked about moving him. The Richardson thing has nothing to do with it.
I'm not sure what we said. I'm sure something that we said caused Dynasty Alex to say pause. So pause. Anyway,
pause.
14 team, Superflex, tight end premium, start 10. he got offered Mahomes, Kittle, and Mike Williams. I'm already very interested in James Cook for my Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Murray 24 first. Oh my goodness, yes. There's no way, Mike. There's no way I'm not taking this.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because of Kittle. If it wasn't Kittle, I think I might be more interested in the other side because Waddle and Amon-Ra are really good, and a random 24 is intriguing to me.
If it was like Pat Freiermuth.
Right. No, I could maybe understand the other side there. But I get in a 14 team in a tight end premium league, Kittle means a lot still.
I don't have a lot of interest in like the Mike Williams and James Cook part, but
I don't either.
Mahomes,
But at the same time,
Kittle,
in 14 team, like they might flex me. They might be flex worthy to somebody else I could trade to too, right? Like it's not.
14
I don't feel good
10,
about it. I don't feel good about it.
10, yeah, I go with the Mahomes side. Give me the Mahomes, Kittle.
That package is intriguing because every piece is good, and the 24 first has intrigue. But Mahomes, I think, is just so worth it to me. So the fact that I'm getting Mahomes and Kittle, I'll down tier the 2 spots and just take the risk because I get Mahomes.
I'll take it. It's a big down tier at those spots, but I'll do it.
Huge. We also don't love Waddle as much as a lot of people do. Little less contending than the 14 team, but Herbert and Hurts at quarterback. Probably look to trade off the 102 in that, or we'll just take my top quarterback if Bijan goes 101.
Same thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, 100%, Goosey.
I'm not worried about it. I don't give a fuck. I could have Mahomes, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Hurts. Doesn't really matter. Like I'd probably still take the quarterback there.
All right. Well, let me just say that Monkey Pack says I've learned so much from you guys. My team is
Appreciate
awesome.
you, man.
Thank you. Yeah. But listen, keep tuning in, man. We're gonna be 20 plus hours doing this. Mike is running out of time. Last question. He's got to wake up early. So
let's get a good one.
It won't be on the wake up show, but he will be up early. He will probably be watching it. So
maybe depends on how busy it is at work.
He'll at least watch a part of it in the bathroom.
There you go.
All right. Buy apple pie. Honestly, I didn't read the question. I just chose the name. 12 team Superflex, 1.5 tight end premium. We're starting 11. Mike, you're going to give the 204 and Dolchich and get Dobbin and the 307.
As much as I've like talked shit about these second year tight ends, they're overvalued. I think I want the 204 and Dolchich here.
Interesting. Okay, because I think this one's actually really close in the way that we would look at it. So, Mike, I think 204 is a good player and good pick. Like it's almost similar to like we already talked about a late first. Would you rather have that or Dobbins straight up? Like someone sent you 204 for your Dobbins. Would you rather have 204 or keep your Dobbins?
204.
Would you? Okay.
I'll take the pick.
I think I might be willing to stay with Dobbins there.
That's fair. It's
close. It's really close, by the way. I wouldn't punish you I wouldn't say you're crazy for taking the 204.
Just sitting here right now, like I don't know how many mock drafts too I've seen where
it's
like
sexy right now. 204 is sexy.
Like the Ravens take Bijan Robinson. What the fuck does that do to Dobbins' value? Like everybody hates him now. It's over for him. It's
right. Done. Yeah.
There's a scenario where that happens, and I go.
I'm willing to ride out the 204 and Dobbins. I'd ride out the Dobbins side, honestly.
Okay.
If I was contending enough. So I guess here's the question, and this is where with Dolchich for me it's kind of confusing and tricky. Like he was good enough in his rookie year, and I think if you draft a tight end at 307, even though it's a deep class, like you want him to basically do what Dolchich did.
You want him to be Greg Dolchich, yes.
But then we're hating on Dolchich already because it's like Albert O's there. Is he really that good? Is he even that valuable? So, like I want Dolchich over the 307. But my question is that really that much of a loss? If we're only starting 11, do either one of these players really even matter that much is my question.
No, and I just want the liquidity. That's why I'm going 204 and Dolchich.
But isn't 307 liquidity for Dolchich too?
It is, but not as good a liquidity as the 204 is.
All right, fair enough. So what we both agree on is it's a really tight trade. It's very even. And if you wanted to pick either side, it's cool. But I lean the Dobbins side and you lean the 204 side. Right. And I think also it depends on your team. If you're more set on contending, I think Dobbins is going to end up outscoring most of the running backs or players to take at 204. But that's a sexier piece right now to take on your team. So if you're looking to move
a liquidity thing, like T-Rock said, like Bijan goes to any running back room, just Thanos snaps it. It's done. True. I don't really care who it is.
It's true. Listen, we appreciate everyone in here asking questions. I'm sorry weren't able to get to more of them. I can tell you this: if you're interested in some of the questions we didn't get to being answered, Thursday on Destination Devy, Friday on Destination Devy, and either Saturday during day 3 on our channel or Destination Devy, not sure which one yet. Make sure you're tuning in to us. You can ask all the questions. We'll have so much time to get to them. We're really excited for this draft and hanging out with you guys. So appreciate every single super chat we got. Appreciate every single question we got, even if we didn't get to them. So we will see you this week quite a bit if you want to tune in. Appreciate all you guys being here. Mike, any final thoughts before we get out of here, man?
That's all I got, man. I got to put in some last-minute bids, hit the sack. 4 a.m. wake-up call tomorrow for me. But plus note, I'll be off in the afternoon, so I get to work, man. I get to work. Busy week, but I am extremely excited for it. Appreciate everybody tapping in, and come check us out. If you don't have a place to watch the draft, you don't have a favorite stream, we got one for you. It'll be your favorite. Trust me, it is ridiculously entertaining when we all get together.
Yeah, that's because Mike will be humping the air or doing something when Philly trades for AJ Brown, whatever that looks like this year. But no, we appreciate it. We will be here all week. You can see plenty of us this week. I'm looking forward to the draft, man. I think it's going to be a blast. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a great week. We will see you back on Thursday on the Destination Devy stream. If not, we will be back here on Sunday AMA. It's going to be tough to get what we get in on Sunday because we're going to be doing a 3-day bender. But we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. We're out of this thing. Peace.